You need to bear with me. I am struggling with the man flu. The interesting thing was I was lying in bed this morning and had a bit of a situation. So I went down to work in my pyjamas to sort some stuff out. And they says, why don't you just go to bed and phone Gary and let him know? I mean, they're speaking on resilience. My goodness. One of the speakers didn't come because of resilience. So I want to tell you a wee bit about my story because I wanted to communicate. I had a wee bit of a similar upbringing to Aaron, but I'll not go into that. But you can picture some of the things. I lived in an estate in inner city Belfast who you survived rather than had grown up. But I want to take it back to 2006. We had a business that actually wasn't called Creative 3. Creative 3's evolved from who we are as a company today. But we developed our company from a print company through to designing websites and all the rest of it. And back in 2006, things were going really, really well for me and the guys in work. And my wife and I, we had developed a small property portfolio. And yeah, as you do, things were going well. And then 2007, Kate and I had adopted a wee 2-year-old boy. For some reason we didn't be able to have kids. There's no particular reason for it, but it just didn't work for us. But we always had a desire to have a child, so adoption was like the next progression. So after anybody's ever went through that or knows anyone, 3 years, it was tough gravy, but it happened, and we adopted it. As he's called on, he's now going to school first day, back tomorrow, age 14, typical teenager. It's very hard to tell teenagers because they know everything. So I have to take him to school in the morning. So everything was going well. Back in 2008, we again, the business was going well. We had actually opened an Indian takeaway. Don't ask, Luke, but that'll be for a separate time. But it was a natural thing. We had moved house, had this romantic notion of living in the country. We bought an old stone house, rotten with damp, but I bought into the lifestyle. Wife wasn't happy, but she bought into it with me because she believed in me. And then the next thing was a recession came. You know, we were developing our business, we were developing our portfolio, and all of a sudden somebody decided to have a recession in 2008. So at that particular time, our business then was, because we were getting a lot of business, I wouldn't recommend it as a model. We dropped 70% of our sales, more or less, over the next, I think, 12, 14 months. And through that time, then we went into sort of like the reason why I want to talk about resilience was that to keep the business going, I had this amazing idea, which I wouldn't recommend it again, which I didn't pay myself a salary for, I think it was maybe 18 months. And I remember, I was actually thinking about this the other day. I remember, this is the back in the day where you still had a checkbook. And I remember writing myself a check for 200 quid. Because I was going through that, when you get to the stage where you don't pay yourself, everything about you as a person actually you lose your value base, you lose your confidence. And when I look back in that particular time, I'm quite an animated person, and I like to have a laugh, I like to joke, and it was like, if you have 4 spark plugs in a car, there was 2 of them pulled out of my back. And I got to the stage where I got so bad. I remember walking through B&Q up in Newton Abbey one day, and I felt light on my feet. I had no job oxygen in me. It was just with the stress and the strain that happened over that period of time. So that was about 2011, and I decided, here's my kid, I need to go to see our doctor. And then I went to the doctor. And he says, Henry, look, the only time he ever seen me was like today. I had the man flu or the adoption process to sign me off that this guy is healthy and he's of a sound mind. So that's the only time he said, look, I've never ever seen you like this. And I said, look, he said, what is it? I said, look, this has happened, that's happened, and the whole world's against me, and the recession's killed me and I blame the recession for this, this and this. He says, Henry, the serotonin levels in your brain have gone. They've gone. And he says, if I could lock you or put you away in a desert island for a period of a year, he says it would do it. But obviously we can't do that because you're self-employed. And I remember there was days when I looked at what, we all know what we have to earn. We all know what we all have to earn per hour. And I remember waking up in the morning thinking, I can do this. I can do this. The next morning, I can't do this. I can't do this. Crying for no reason. My wife didn't know what to do with me. Throw me out, keep me. What happened to this man who was so energetic and loved life? And he said, look, Hannah, your serotonin levels are gone. And he says, can I put you on a wee tablet? I have an underactive thyroid, so I believe in medication. And I said, no, I want to work this out. I want to work this out myself. I got myself into it, and I want to get myself out. He says, Henry, you have a year to 18 months before your happy pills start to come back. And I didn't realise what he was saying at that particular time. But all of a sudden, I started to make the choices of owning my situation. And I want to put some, can I put some? Why is it going? Oh, that's me. The definition of the word, I actually went to the Urban Dictionary as well. The ability to stand up to challenges, work through them step by step and bounce back stronger than you were before. And obviously the Normal Dictionary said the capacity to recover quickly. I didn't recover quickly. I had too many things going on. Toughness, the often remarkable resilience so many British institutions have. And one of the things I want to encourage, I think we've already said it. Some I think it was Kenny Galloway earlier on said, take responsibility. For me, it got to the stage where the recession was the blame for everything that was going on in my life at that particular time. With obviously a few properties, the business, the charitable sector got the tribe kicked out of it, which kicked the tribe out of me. But the reality was I got to the stage where I remember one time standing and I had this thought, the only thing that can change this is me. So I went and got a mirror. So that's what I always say to people to this day, when they're going on about this and this and this, do you want to change it? Do you want to change it? Go and get a mirror and look at it. Because the only person can change it. So we're always encouraging people to own the situation. And we're all going through, we've all got a story to tell. You know, we heard Aaron's and we heard some of the other guys, and they're absolutely, but we've all a story to tell. But I want to encourage everyone to own it. Whatever it is, own the situation, because you can change it. One of the things that I learned very, very early, especially having a young adopted boy, and I read 100 books on adopted child. One of the biggest things that worried me having an adopted child was that attachment. And one of the things that I worked on really, really hard was to stay present. Do you ever get to the stage where you're talking to someone and you know that they're not present? You know they're not there. And that was something that I want to encourage you, because I remember I couldn't even afford to go to the gym anymore, and a friend of mine who was in financial services says, Honey, come on, I'm going to pay your membership. And I remember we didn't go and do any workouts. We actually went to the jacuzzi. Had to work on the serotonin levels, you know what I mean? So I remember then in the jacuzzi one day, and I remember saying to Vince, my friend, and I says, Vince, we're going to come back from this. I'm going to come back from this. And the reality is, I wanted to stay present. And I wanted to own every feeling that I was going through at that particular time. I didn't go all into myself and all the rest of it. I think the recession and all of the outworking's done that itself. But I want to remember the dark days. And this is why I always tell people who are going through maybe financial stress or going through some mindfulness and stuff, try and stay present. Try and own your feelings. I know it's difficult. We're in that time now. Back in the day, nobody talked about mindfulness. I just thought I was a mental person and I was losing my mind. But nobody gave me the steps. But I had enough savvy about me at that particular time to stay present. And I wanted a journal, some of my feelings, some of my highs and my lows, to try and find my way through. And one of the biggest things that I had really wanted to get from the recession, because you and I can't build anything until we have the right foundation. You know, a foundation going up the ways is only going to be determined by what's below the ground. I kept saying to myself, Henry, what can I learn from this situation? It's actually going to serve me. Because at that particular time, all the feelings that I was feeling at that particular time was actually enslaving me. I remember a guy had said to me, maybe about 4 or 5 years back, and through the recession, actually, I was able to hold a few grand in the bank. And I'm an investor by heart, but because of what happened all around my world, I started to protect that few grand, because I wanted to have enough money to pay my mortgage and all the bills that actually allowed these happy bills to come back. So I actually protected the money. And I remember one guy said to me, Honey, why does reinvestment over here? And I liked the look of it, and I thought, oh, that looks good. But you had to put the man thing on, because you can't show your emotions. We're men from Northern Ireland. And so 2 weeks later, he came back, he said, what about that reinvestment, Henry? You thinking more about it? Here's me, I'm still thinking. A week later, he came back, he says, are you going to put up or shut up? And I realised then, I was frightened. I was frightened to invest. And I said to him at the particular time, I says, I can't because I believe in what you're doing, but I was so frightened by my circumstances. So that helped me actually not enslave me. I was enslaved at that particular time, but I've used that for a positive thing, where now that feeling, that education is actually serving me today. And that's probably leading on to number 4, determined to use it. All the things that when I look back, I really thank God for all the things. Now, I couldn't have thanked God at that particular time, especially for crying for no reason over your breakfast, or all the feelings that I had at that particular time. But you and I have all went through situations where there have been marital breakups. In our situation, I'm actually 30 years married next year. And that's something we have determined to work through, that we always try to let everything from our past serve us for the future. And my last point was, it's like a number of people have said tonight, and I'm massive on this, is to widen your personal environment and influence. And because sometimes, and I hear this from business owners quite a bit, that it's a lonely road. It is a lonely road if you let it be a lonely road. It doesn't have to be a lonely road. Because there's people out there who have went through things, maybe some bigger things, that could actually give you the confidence, the direction, or the input that allows you to bounce on. And it won't be a lonely road. You can determine, because stress will do a number of things to you. It'll isolate you. Fear will isolate you. All those things, financial worries that business owners, someone had mentioned earlier about, I used to get I don't know about you guys, when all the bills at the end of the month, you get about the 25th or 26th of the month, you get a bit of tightness when all the bills have to go out. I had that there for a number of years. But again, because of the experience of my past, I always try to get the 3 parts of the pipe working in business, where I've worked on, I've money in the bank, and I'm owed money. And there's simple mathematics in that. But you have to go through something to let it to take you somewhere. So widen your personal environment and your influence. There's a lot of amazing people in here, and I know from LinkedIn and different, I know Kenny had mentioned Martin and I, but Martin and I, we had met a couple of years ago, and we've held that relationship. And there's one thing I always encourage people to do, is you have to invest in relationship. You have to invest in it. You have to make the time, or the 1 or the 2 hours, to go across to Martin's office, or Kenny's office, or to drive up to Derry. Well, I have no time because I have to do the work. All that's here work. Set intentional time. It's not the first time I've got on the plane to go to Manchester, because there's guys who've got bigger agencies as us. I want to be around the movers and shakers. Not because I want to be a mover and shaker. It's like someone said about my big whys, my kids. I want to be a better parent. I get around people who are better parents than me, who actually love their kids. I don't want to just beat them all the time. If you want to be a better business person, be around a better business person than you. And it's simple, but we don't make the time because we're so busy on this treadmill called business that we have to actually book time in to say, I want to spend a couple of hours with Aaron over lunch. I want to take a couple of hours out to drive, 2-hour drives to Derry, or go and see John in Ballymena, or drive to Dublin. This is an exciting road, but the wider you open yourself to the influences. And someone said earlier, it was Jared said, that if you're the smartest person in the room, you need a new room. And I buy into all that, because iron sharpens iron as each man sharpens another. And I want a better me, not for the sake of having more money in my pocket, because the minute, and people who know me, the minute I have more money in my pocket, the more I know that I can help other people. The reality is, at the start of this year, my wife was over in India, they were putting in water wells and different things, and seeing people released from trafficking and stuff. I'm involved with a food bank here, but I have to intentionally say, I want to use my business that I can live a life of significance. But until you intentionally put the time for that into your diary, to be around the guys in the room. Thank you very much, Guy, for inviting me and meeting your beautiful wife. I see where your son gets the looks from. So here we are. Guys, I think I'm done. Yes, I am. But thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much. I told you it was some guy.